Hey, today I'm going to show you how to install and fly the IL-76 for Xplane12. The installation part of this video will focus on not only just installing the plane package itself and where to find it, but also add-ons to actually make the plane flyable. From assist keyboard shortcuts that'll help the functions of this plane actually work, to a simple altimeter fix. These add-ons will be specified and I'll show you how to install them. When it comes to the flying aspect, I made a few mistakes. I just want to point them out here so you don't have to spot them. Firstly, I set the autopilot mode to GPS after I took off. I should have done that at the stand. Same goes for setting takeoff flaps, setting trim, and also configuring autopilot. You should all do that at the stand or at least after pushback, so don't make the same mistake as I did there. I also set a way too high flight level. This plane climbs pretty slow, so make sure to not try and set your altitude too high if your route is short. And then I also started my descent way too late, and my target rate of descent for my descent ended up being really high at like minus 2,800 feet per minute. So I recommend when the target hits like 2,500, that's when you should descend. Yeah, that's really it. Enjoy the tutorial. Okay, so let's start downloading this plane. You have 4 links in the description. We'll start with the first one, which is actually the where I got the plane from. It's from this forum, IL-76 for Xplane12. Look at the second message, and you'll find a guy with this download link, which doesn't work right now for me. I visited this site many times to do the tutorial, so it's asking me if I'm a robot. But yeah, you're supposed to download the actual zip of the plane from here. And then this over here is a zip for the cockpit texture, which will add a conversion from kilometers per hour to knots. So it's very helpful for, those who use typical aviation units. The next thing is the IL-76 altimeter fix. And this one's very important, especially for VATSIM. And I'll tell you why. So ignore the fact that the QNH is different on both screenshots, but essentially the way the altimeter calculated the altitude in the digital gauge was really inaccurate before this fix. When you put this fix in, it just directly links it to the actual data ref of altitude, and so you get the perfect altitude based on the QNH selected, and according to VATSIM controllers, it's perfectly fine. So yeah, just get this one. It'll sort you out with your altimeter. Next, we have the IL-76 Assist Pack. Now this one adds 2 functions, and they're toggleable functions, and I'll show you what they're used for. Hop into this video for like a detailed quick demonstration, although I will show you how to use them during this video. The last link you're gonna need, or actually you don't need this. This will just be something that pops up throughout my video, and it's essentially an info panel showing you what's going on with your flights, your engine percentage, your flaps, your spoilers. It's pretty I guess helpful if you want to see what's going on, and if you want to follow along with me as I open up this panel. But yeah, this is by Zombie Studios, so just check the link in the description. Now, once you've downloaded all of this, it should look like this. It should look like this, and you'll have your 5 files here. Now, obviously, you're gonna go unzip your 7-zip folder, unzip your main2 zip, and what we're gonna do with this is the following. So, firstly, we're gonna open this into a kind of new tab in our file explorer and hop inside. We're gonna drag the altimeter fix into custom avionics and replace. Next thing we're gonna do is take main2 and take the PNG and drag it into objects and replace. Now, oh, 1 second. For these 2 Lua files, we're gonna hop into Xplane12. We're gonna go to resources, plugins, and you're gonna make sure you have FLYWITHLUA. You can get FLYWITHLUA. I can actually search it up right now. FLYWITHLUA. Get the NG plus if you're on Xplane12. I presume you're on Xplane12 if you're watching this tutorial. Get this, put it in your folders, your plugin folder, and that's what we're essentially going to use to run the assist pack and yeah. Oh, the file export. Okay, there we go. It's back again. We're just going to take these two and go into FLYWITHLUA, go into scripts, and then drag them in. Now you'll see that it's saying me, it's telling me to replace, but that's because I already had these installed. So yeah, well, that's me. Of course, they'll be new to your FLYWITHLUA install, so yeah, just make sure they go in. Right, so now we essentially have the plane complete in a very well improved form. We also have some two FLYWITHLUA scripts. One you might need, and the other is the assist pack, which I highly recommend. That was made by me. Now, all right, let's go back to Xplane12 here. Out, 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 until we can see our aircraft folder. Hop into your aircraft folder and drag in your IL-76 file. 1 second. I'm actually just gonna copy. I'm not gonna copy it. I'm gonna move it. So let's do that. And there you go. It should be in. Just make sure that when you go inside of it, you see all these folders. And yeah, there it is. That should be it. And yeah, so let's hop in Xplane and I'll show you how to see this plane. Alright, so now we're gonna hop into new flights, and then you might not see the illusion yet, but just make sure you have show aircraft for older versions of Xplane, and then you'll actually see it there. Now the reason it's only showing those is because I have it set to illusion, so that you can only see these. Alright, so let's hop in, shall we? So, which one? So, I'll actually explain the variants really quickly. The VD is essentially the new engine option, and the original IL-76 TD is with those more small, kind of traditional cigarette engines. Actually, I'll show you a livery to kind of show this better. So so you can kind of see the difference now. That one has bigger engines. That one has smaller engines. Now, I presume that there's supposed to be a new glass avionics included in the cockpit for the VD90, but that isn't included here. They both have the same cockpit. So, yeah. Now let's hop in, and I'm going to choose the original IL-76. It's up to you, though. You can definitely pick the new gen. The cockpits work about the same. So yeah. Right, we'll be flying a short flight, so let's go ahead and pick out a flight. So it is up to you which way you choose your flights. Personally, I choose sim brief. I plan out a flight, and then I use little nav map to import it into my Xplane database just to check that all the waypoints exist, and then I mend anything like a missing sit or star, and also add an approach. So I'll show you kind of my method. Now, little nav map is just one of the optional things that you can have. It's just like an extra kind of security check before you import it into your Xplane FMS, just to make sure it can fit into your database. But of course, you can directly take a sim brief flight plan and import it straight into your Illusion. And I'll show you just how to do that now. So let's do a flight through sim brief and kind of convert it into a file that we can use. So let's do LTAC to Sochi. So that's, I believe, Anatolia to Sochi. So we're going to do IL-76. It's an option. And just wait for it to load. And then just, it's up to you how you might want to pick a different, flight plan. But just generate the flight plan here. And you're going to hop down to flight plan downloads. And you're going to go all the way down until you see these two options. Now, it's up to you which one you choose. You can choose the one where there's no sit and star implemented yet, or you can have it include the star sit. So it's really up to you. But yeah, I'm not going to download these. I'm just going to show you where you have to download it. So let me show you where you download these. You go save as, you hop to your, where is it, Xplane12 folder. You go into output, and then you go into FMS plans, and that's the folder where you're gonna put in your flight plan with a little nav map. So what I end up doing is I have the original plan here from SimBrief, then I hop into open flight plan from SimBrief, press download flight plan, and then you'll have this. It'll even tell you if there's something, you know, interesting that's different. Maybe it'll say that it didn't detect a SID or star. But whatever it is, you just press create flight plan. I already had something loaded, and you'll see it here. And yeah, this is the flight plan we get. And if you see any issues, you can go ahead and fix that up. So let's see here. Is there an approach included? There's no approach included, so I'll actually do that just right now. So we'll do 06, and then we'll go down to the approaches and pick one that works. Our last thing of the star is Gaussian, so we'll just find a Gaussian transition. Let me see here. There it is, Gaussian transition. You just kind of implement that. And there you go. Now to save this, I'm going to hop into File, export as FMS plan, and then yeah, just save it there. Now that's how I'm gonna save it, and I like to save it as 1.fms. This way it appears at the top of the page when we have all those flight plans listed on our FMS. So yeah, let's just replace that and hop into Xplane and spawn at Anatolia. So let's do that. LTAC here. Oh, it's called Sanboga, my bad. Alright, so now we've spawned in. You can actually see the panel that I was talking about here, and we're quickly going to set up our controls for not only this panel that I made you probably download, but also the assist pack shortcuts. So I'll show you how to get to them now. So hop into your settings, keyboard, and just search up FLYWITHLUA. And we'll see here. Now, ignore throttle mapper, that's just something else I've downloaded, but you'll see toggle info panel, you'll see toggle 3% throttle limiter, and nav1, nav2, CRS1 to sync. Now I already have these kind of implemented inside, but just pick a shortcut that you may. Now I will tell you what to do firstly. Make this one something that you can do on the fly, something that you can press quickly, because you might need to press it quickly. This one is something, you know, some crazy combination. You'll press it once before your pre-flights, and then you'll check that it's working. It's just something you activate before flights. This one here, I wouldn't say much of something you do on the fly. You can do it on the fly. I have it Shift P, very easy to press on my keyboard, but it just toggles that panel I was talking about on the bottom. So yeah, there it is. And yeah, now we can toggle the panel, and we can toggle the assist features. So yeah, let's go ahead and start up the plane, shall we? Now, it is actually pretty easy to start it up, so let me show you. So you hop into this panel here, and I just want to say, I am no Russian person. For a lot of these switches, I don't even know what they do. I do know the sequence to starting it up, though. So we'll start up with these. I know these are batteries, so we'll do that. We'll also close up the caps. Turn on these. I believe they're inverters. I'm not really sure. This might represent the 4 engines. I am unsure. But these ones, I know what these are. These are the buses. So these are the buses for the engine 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then this one is ground, power, and APU. And then up here we have, well, I don't know. Well, I don't know what these switches do, but you do have to turn them on. And that is the okay, I was waiting for that sound. That is what really gives the plane power once the batteries are on. Then you can just press this, I guess. And that sound we just heard is the digital altimeter powering up. And quickly, I just want to test that this plugin worked. And yes, it did. It's up now. Right. Next thing to do, hop into your air panel here. We're going to switch on some stuff. So we're going to start at the bottom here. I believe this area is air supply, although I am pretty unsure. I believe I read it on the document that comes with this plane that has a very convenient English translation, although I don't think it talked about what this up here is. I believe this is fuel kind of management, although we will turn the air systems on the bottom. And then we'll just kind of go by level to level, turning on all these switches. So let's do that. Ignore this one up here. I believe this one is supposed to spawn a Jeep in a different version of this plane. In this version of the plane, it doesn't. But, you know, I don't want to risk anything, so I'm not going to flip the switch on. And it doesn't even affect your flight if you have it off, so better off without it. So let's go ahead and turn on all the switches here. Remember, level by level, just kind of do a kind of scan here. And yeah, I'd also recommend hopping into your keyboard binds and adding toggle visualization of clickable cockpit areas. I put it as Shift plus C, but essentially it shows you where you can click, and it's very helpful for checking which switches you can turn on this panel. And yeah, there you go. So we've turned them all on. Now we're going to move on to this, which is definitely the APU panel. So we're going to switch on all these buttons here, and then the bottom button. And that's going to start up your APU. You'll see the percentage of the APU spooling up. And yeah, once it's 100%, it's good. All right. Now that we have that, let's configure some more things. And quickly, I've noticed it's getting pretty bright outside, and I do want to show you guys the night lighting of the cockpit quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the time back to about 3 a.m. Okay, much better. Now I'm going to show you the night lighting that you can have. So you turn these knobs to turn up the brightness of avionics, and you'll see it's a red light. It's really cool, and it feels awesome when you're having a low approach at night. These are some amazing lights. Same for the first officer side. Once again, I'm using the show clickable cockpit areas just to kind of show things here. And yeah, you can see that it adds a red light. Now, if the red light isn't enough, you can go down here into this switch at the back here, flip it on, and it adds a white light. I'm surprised this lighting still works in Xplane12, but it looks amazing, especially at night here, which is why I wanted to turn it to night. You'll also notice there's a traditional kind of 737 Boeing style ND, although I like to turn it away. You can use the scroll wheel on the click zone. So once again, let me show the click zone. You just kind of use the scroll wheel to turn it back. I like to turn it away. Kind of ruins my immersion seeing the ND on my little telescope thing. Although I don't really know what this is actually supposed to be used for on the plane. Maybe it is a help on VFR, but you know, I'm not sure. Speaking of VFR though, I quickly want to show you what's under the cockpit, which is a very magical thing about this plane, and that is the navigation room. Now, it doesn't look like much, and that's because it's pretty dark, but let me turn on my flashlight here, and you'll see when it's lit up, it looks amazing. It is a beautiful place to watch your landing replays or your takeoff replay. It's also nice to just chill here during your flights, and I'll tell you what I do. I pop up my GNS, and I hop into the navigation panel down here, and I just kind of watch the clouds. It's quite nice. Anyways, now speaking of the GNS, let's start getting things sorted. First thing I want to do is show you the nav sync. So that is the second thing that the assist pack does. So let me go back to the FLYWITHLUA stuff just to show you. It's this one right here, the nav 1 and nav 2, and course 1 and course 2 sync. These two essentially are toggled by the keyboard bind you just set, and you can check that it works by putting up the iPad. Now there's an iPad that's activatable by pressing this N1 gauge here, and you'll see it's a basic autopilot implementation, which is really nice, but we're really here to check that the frequency sync is working. So we'll hop into nav 2 and just see that when we're selecting a new frequency for nav 1, that it appears as nav 2, and yeah, that's correct. Remember, toggle it, you just press the keybind you set. So my keybind is Control-Shift-C, and now I'm going to try flipping it over again, and you'll see it hasn't changed again, but I'm going to switch it on, and you'll actually see it pop up again. Okay, there it is. So yeah, the purpose of having this is if you don't want to use the tablets, there's something pretty bad about this aircraft. It only uses the nav2 frequency, which is unfortunate, and you can't change that. I've tried every clickable thing in the cockpit. It doesn't change the frequency used, but you can only adjust the nav1 frequency via the GNS 430 if we're excluding the iPad you just saw. And so by having both of those nav frequencies synchronized, you can essentially control both nav frequencies by just using the GNS, and you just kind of push the CV to edit these frequencies. That's your standby, and then you press this button to flip it. Same with COM1. I mean, this is pretty normal. It's just kind of flip it over, set the frequency. You get the point. Right, now continuing onwards, I'll quickly show you what the other one does, which is the 3% throttle limiter. It is exactly what it says. Let me bring up the panel again to show you. So, actually you won't be able to see it in the panel because we don't even have the engines turned on. But just check our throttle here. When I turn it on, it pushes our throttle up. That's because it's gone up to 3%. And essentially what it does is that your throttle minimum is only 3%. When you turn it off, your throttle minimum is 0%. So once again, that's with it on, and that's with it off. And I'll show you why it works once the engines are started. Okay, now let's disable it for now. And, oh, whoa, don't want that toga, right. Let's start setting up the GNS. The GNS 430 is, GNS? I feel like I'm saying that wrong. It has a different name. Whatever it is, it's your navigation device. It's your FMC. It is what you can use on the tablet here, and the tablet can actually localize the flight plan, essentially allowing for an LNAV system. But that's up to you. But yeah, this is where you do your flight plan. And so let's do it, shall we? It all starts by pressing the flight plan button. And you'll see here we have two menus by flipping the little knob. I'm going to turn on my red flashlight so you can see what I'm pressing. The little knob controls the pages of the current section you're on the FMC. There's multiple sections, so I'll show you them. Your first one is nav, which it shows your map, which will show your route live. It'll also show your vertical navigation. We'll talk about this later. And it also shows your waypoint progress to your next waypoint. So yeah, that's the nav page. There's a second page. Let me see what it is. Is it procedure? I believe it is. I'm not sure. I believe there's something, maybe the waypoints page, but I'm not sure. Anyways, though, this is the flight plan page of the FMC, and it's very easy. You have ability to load up a flight plan. Remember, as we saved the flight plan already, and I can actually load it up here, but I'm not going to do that. I just did that to show you that you can save a flight plan, and you can just directly load it up and not have to worry about setting it up. But we are going to set it up manually just so I can show you how you're supposed to input your flight plan. So let's hop into the first page of the flight plan. Automatically, the airport you're currently at will be listed. Now let's start adding waypoints. So I'm going to use the little nav map for this. It's pretty nice, so I'll pop out the flight planning thing. So let's start with our departure here. Running 03 left, ILHA 1 Tango departure. So let's quickly put that in. You go into procedure, select departure, press enter. Then press, just select it with the big knob here, your departure. So let's do that now. What was it? It was ILHA 1 Tango, so let's put that in. I found it. I saw it there. There it is. And then press enter, and then you'll get your runway selection, 03 left, as I remember. Press enter when you see load highlighted. Oh, and you can actually see this is the waypoint page. Hopefully we'll talk about that later, but yeah. Now, once you press enter, it'll load it in. And quickly, if you press CR/SR, it'll turn into a cursor for whatever page you're on. So you'll see now it's a cursor for my flight plan. And yeah, now we can start adding some waypoints. To start adding a waypoint, you flip to the space where you want to add a waypoint before, and then you just start turning the little knob. And you just turn the little knob for a letter or number, and then you move to the next one and you do the same thing, and you kind of get it here. You just kind of select something. If you want to exit this, you can easily just press clear, and that completely gets rid of it. And that's kind of how you add a waypoint in the middle of your flight plan, by entering uh, at the place where you want the waypoint to appear before. But yeah, if you want to add to the end, you just kind of go down to this blank space here and then input the waypoint. So it's going to take a long time, but we're going to input every single waypoint that we have, because there is a pretty bad disadvantage. Although we have all these waypoints under airways, you'd presume we can just put in 2 waypoints and then say there's an airway connecting them. No, you have to go waypoint by waypoint, putting them in. Now, that is also one of the reasons I suggest you use a flightplan uplink, especially for long routes, because of all those waypoints. But of course, it's up to you. You can go ahead and put it manually. We're going to put it manually here. So let's hop in and start with Ekmek. Now, I'm going to do a full time lapse of doing this because I am not letting you sit through this. So let's go ahead and put in everything from Ekmek to Kepol here. Or actually, yeah, just to Dirun then. All right, let's go. Yeah, so now that we're at Dirun, let's go ahead and put our arrival here, which is going to be Sochi, which is URSS. And there we go. And once it's in, you can go ahead and press the procedure button and select, firstly, arrival. And I remember Diru 1 Lima, I believe. Diru 1 Lima, there it is. And then press load. Then press procedure again to select your approach. And I'm not really sure which one it is, so I'm just going to check here. Approach, localizer, Zulu, Foxtrot 06. So where's localizer Zulu? Localizer Zulu 06. Press enter, and then we're looking for Gawk in transition. There it is. So plop it in, and then press load. Okay, so once you have that in, you should have a nice flight plan. My recommendation is go ahead to the first waypoint after your runway, press menu, and press activate leg. That is one of the things that I have forgotten a lot during flight, and what that does is it activates your magenta leg, your magenta line, which is the first line you're going to take in your flight plan. Now, if you see a bunch of waypoints and stuff, you just press clear. That clears out a lot of the details from the map. But yeah, you can kind of toggle between different range levels. Now, quickly, one thing you can't do with the pop-out is change the range of the nav map. I'm okay, it did work, but not anymore. Yeah, it's kind of iffy with the pop-out nav map when it comes to checking with adjusting the ring size, but you know, just use the manual one to adjust size. Every single other button works though. I will say one thing that only works specifically with the pop-up is the volume slider for your comms frequency. So if you have on VATSIM the option that your knobs actually control your volume, this is where you control it, not here. Even though this one's moving, it literally does nothing. Use it from here. It is also very, very sensitive, so just only a few notches will do. But yeah, make sure either it's at full volume or just a little bit less, because it is very sensitive. All right, now next, what we're gonna do is, now that we have our flight plan in, we can hop up to the transponder. Now let me get rid of this. So let's hop onto the transponder here and set our squawk. Let's go 2222. Why not? Press on. This is mode Charlie for VATSIM, if you want to think of it like that. And then press ident. And there you go. Your squawk is now set. Now, one thing that should work with this is the TCAS radar, although I have never seen any traffic shown here, because this is supposed to be your TCAS display. But yeah, I haven't seen any, traffic ever appear before. Hopefully one day I post an add-on to fix this. Before now, I don't know how to fix it. Let's talk about your gauges though. Wow, I forgot to talk about that. Right. Tons of weird gauges, but I'll tell you that the ones that are highlighted are probably the ones you care most about. and also care about your altimeter. So firstly, your altimeter is digital. You can use this one here, but I have no idea what this display means or what these units are. So yeah, you can adjust your QNH using this knob or this knob. And yes, so let's check the QNH at our current airport. It's ALTAC, go down details, 1017. So firstly, make sure to convert to feet if you're that kind of guy. So I'm going to convert to feet, and the QNH was 1017, so go ahead and set that in. And you'll see with the accurate altimeter mod, you'll get a perfect reading for this. No errors whatsoever. Now, let's talk about all this. So that's your horizon. And you'll see that when I'm turning, or sorry, rolling, the whole horizon won't roll, but only this kind of plane tilt indicator will. It's a very weird system, and you might not be used to it, which is exactly why I want to explain it now. So yeah, you'll see your plane, this plane icon tilting instead of the whole horizon display. So don't be disoriented when that happens. However, the whole horizon display will tilt up and down whenever you're pitching up and down, which is good. Now let's show you the click spots here to kind of show you what they do. This knob adjusts the kind of arrow here, and this isn't your course. No, it isn't your course. This is your heading for your autopilot, as weird as it is. So yeah, you can adjust it from here. Once again, you can use the tablet to adjust it, so pop up the tablets. This is actually where we're going to activate the autopilot, but yeah, you can also adjust it via your tablet. So let's go ahead and set it to maybe, let's go 160 just to kind of show that it shows up on here. And you'll see that it's pointed towards 60, I believe. Yep, 6. And yeah, this middle part is your little tiny localizer. That is what you're going to use to see your ILS approach before it comes. I don't know what this is. I've never seen that click spot before. It doesn't do anything to my knowledge. But yeah, now the one thing I want to talk about is the altimeter target. So when we're ascending in this plane, counter to what you see here with the alt kind of selection, this doesn't work. In fact, the autopilot will not react to this. It won't level off when it reaches this altitude. You have to tell it to level off by pressing the Alt button. You can also go into vertical speed and set it to 0 to mean, level off, but that is really up to you. We also have that beautiful autopilot disconnect sound. But yeah, you are the one responsible for leveling off the plane. And to help you with that, you have an alarm, an altitude alarm. So let me show you right now. It's pretty loud, but essentially you pick an altitude, and once your altitude reaches that target, it will beep, and it'll also disappear. So let me show you right now. Let's put it to 3,000. And you see that it disappears when you reach the target, and it also makes the, deafening sound. That's your brightness, by the way, I think you already saw, and that is your QNH slider. Once again, you can adjust the QNH from here. And but I have no idea what this kind of display, what unit this kind of display is in. I checked in inches of mercury, and it doesn't actually align with inches of mercury. I'll actually show you down here. Look, let me see. Maybe it'll go to, yeah, see, 68, and right now it's at 75. I don't know what this unit is. Whatever it is, it's definitely not there. Right. Now your airspeed, remember that texture pack we put in? That's where you got the airspeed little markings from. They're very good. I have no idea what the original units are in. I presume it's in kilometers per hour because 500 is 270. But yeah, I'm not very sure. Now pressing the TCAS here, that changes it from, I guess, the TCAS kind of display to a vertical speed display. Now either way, even if you have this display off, this kind of arrow will point towards your vertical speed. So if you're going plus 100 feet per minute, it'll point up to 1 here. If you're going minus 1,000 feet per minute, it'll go down here, and so on. So this is just here if you want to have a number representation. But yeah, I don't know why it's saying 1,000 feet per minute. Just, I guess, don't use it. Okay, right. That was a pretty long explanation, but I still have more. Okay, sorry. It's just down here we have a course selector. This is actually the main reason I have the assist sync command, because this only controls the nav1 course, which, as I said, no matter what you do, this plane will only use the nav2 frequency and course. So having it only, adjust the nav1 course is pretty pointless. So yeah, having it sync with this as well is also really helpful. So this is how you control your course, as long as you have the nav1 and nav2 sync keybind on. Now, what are these? Well, these two are DME displays. In other words, when you're contacting a VOR or an ILS, it'll show you, once you're close enough, the distance you are from it. Now, I don't know what these knobs do. In fact, in another version, these knobs control the brightness of the display. But yeah, and also in another version of this, you'd actually have two frequency knobs here to control their specific frequencies, but that's not implemented here as well. So unfortunate. So much explanation, so much yapping, but little going on. This plane is still stuck on the ground, and we gotta get it flying. So let's do that. Let's start the engines up, and I'll show you how to do that. So go up here to this panel, and this is going to be where we're going to start the engines. So before we do that, look down here, and you can drag these, but they have very weird drag spots. What I recommend is holding your mouse over and scrolling up. For some reason, scrolling one click up will activate them, which I guess that's nice. Same thing goes with the throttles. That is a very accidental thing you can do. You can, like, just scroll up one and it'll go up to toga, which is interesting. But yeah, right, up to our engines here. Turn this on. I have no idea what this is. This might be air supply, but I don't know. These are the igniters, to my knowledge. What we're gonna do is flip them all on. I'm gonna pop up my panel here so you can see what's going on. Now, this is a gamble, all right, because there's a chance that this engine won't start, or this engine won't start, or both of these two won't start. And in that case, I suggest going up here and setting yet another keybind. Let me find it. It is auto start engines to running real time. Now, you might think, oh, that's going to mess up all the switches when it happens. But trust me, all it does is spools up these engines and then presses this little button here that turns off the APU automatically. We're going to see if we have luck today by trying to start all the engines. But yeah, my personal best luck technique here is this, then this. Okay. Come on, start up, please. Then this, and then this. Okay, it looks like these two are stuck trying to start up, and you can see Gen is off and whatnot. If you're having errors with starting these engines, yeah, your best kind of shot here is to use the auto start. So we're gonna press it, and there you go. Everything will kind of do its thing and turn on. The N2 should the Jet 2 should also turn on. I'm not sure what's wrong with that. Right, we're gonna pull up the throttles just to check. Wow. Oh, okay, sure. So I guess if you've auto started, just spool them up and they'll come back to life. Sure. I haven't had that situation ever. Usually auto start is always the solution that just ends up working perfectly. But I guess here it auto started but didn't finish fully auto starting. So make sure you bring up your throttle just to try it a little bit. All right. So now that we're ready to go, let's do a pushback here. And quickly, let's talk about the engine limiter. Or you know what, let's push back first. Firstly, some bad news. If you're a better pushback user, this does not support it, and I'll show you how. Try and connect first or something or whatever, start pushback, and you'll find this message.
Pushback failure. No suitable tug for your aircraft.
Now, I have no idea how to fix that, but for now, no solution. Best thing to get is the FLYWITHLUA script for simple ground services. Yeah, I know. Once again, another script you have to get, but trust, it's good. I'll include it in the description. You know what? It's going in the description. Simple ground services, okay? Yeah, just download that for Xplane12, okay? And then once you have that, use your hotkey for opening it up. So it's toggle window, simple ground services. toggle window. I use the quotation mark here. But yeah, once you press it, it'll pop this up. You're going to press aim. It's got a very weird system here, this built-in pushback, but it does work with the IL-76. I suggest pressing extended length, then popping this here. Now look, don't align it perfectly. What I'd say is align it just before. And the reason why is it likes to overshoot. So it likes to overshoot distance, so put it somewhere where it's going to be a bit, ahead of it, okay? So once that's in, it says release the parking brake. And this is where the throttle limiter comes in. So this plane has an always active auto brake, which is really annoying. And essentially how it works is as long as your throttle is idle, your brake is going to keep increasing. As long as your throttle isn't idle, your brakes are going to start decreasing. And you'll see, just because we had the throttle on, the brakes just started depleting and it presumed that my parking brake was off. Okay, right. After that discussion, quickly I'm going to show you what the throttle limiter does. All it does is makes the minimum 3% so that, our brakes deplete. And yeah, so I'm just going to turn it on now and let the brake go to 0 and then press start pushback.
Starting pushback.
And yeah, it's got a bit of a worse sound design than better pushback, but it's a good exchange, I guess, for an actual working pushback here. Now let's talk about the lights that you can do here. It's a very interesting panel. I'll get up my notes. I actually have paper notes here. Okay, right. So my notes say that this one is landing and logo. Actually, firstly, turn both of these on. Okay, that's gonna do something related to the lights. And then flip this one on for landing and logo lights. Okay, see, that activate the logo light and the landing light. Activate this for taxi lights. During pushback you wouldn't turn this on, but you turn on for taxi. We're gonna turn this off now. Then
Clear to start engines.
thank you very much. Already done that. This one is beacon, so press this for beacon. Oh, was it already on? Oh, it was already on. Okay. Well, that one up there was beacon. Okay, this one is beacon. And then this one is nav. These are your nav lights, the ones that appear on the edge. There's no working strobe lights, which I've heard is an issue for everyone. And I don't have a script to fix that, so that's unfortunate. I have no idea what this switch does. I'm actually just gonna check now. Is there anything maybe that is the nav switch. I'm not really sure what this does. Maybe it's an extra light, but I'm unsure. Right, now that everything is ready, and we should be coming to a
Please
stop
set
now.
the parking brake.
Okay, when it asks to set the parking brake, just go into idle throttle so the brakes start increasing, and you'll see it there. I
Service
suggest
connected.
watching the video from my assist pack, and it'll actually kind of display this whole braking situation in detail. It'll really help you understand what's going on here. But for now, when your engines are idle, your brake's gonna go up. When your engine's not idle, your brake is just gonna deplete. So here it is depleting, and yeah, I think the pushback toe has released now. Okay, so why do we have this engine limiter when it's simply very easy to just disengage the brake? Well, I make a very easy mistake without the limiter, which is that I'm taxiing maybe, so here goes the throttle, I start taxiing. And then I start going down to idle, maybe to just stop accelerating so much. So here I am going very fast kind of acceleration, and I go to idle to kind of reduce my acceleration, but boom, it applies full brakes, and it's very annoying while you're taxiing, especially in VATSIM, trying to manage maybe taxi instructions, that you just suddenly get the brakes in the middle of the taxiway. So I have the throttle limiter so that whenever I pull my throttle to idle, nothing happens with the brakes. Now that being said though, you still can activate manual brakes here, so let's do that. As you can see, manual brakes, they still work. It's just that your brakes will endlessly start going up if you're at idle. Okay? Right. Now about V speeds and V1 rotate speeds and landing speeds, you don't get that here. You don't get calculations for that. But you just kind of have to guess. My personal advice: start rotating at just about here on your speed thing. Oh wait, hold on. Yep, hold on. Let me just activate my. Okay. Okay, right. I thought something was wrong with the runways here. But yeah, I forgot two things before we take off. That's firstly setting up the trim. Secondly, probably setting our autopilot up and deploying the flaps. So let's do that right now. Go ahead and set the parking brake. Now remember, when our engine isn't idle, our brakes are gonna deplete. So I'm gonna turn off the engine limiter and go idle. And it'll actually automatically set all the brakes, so no need for parking brake. Right. First, let's start with setting up the autopilot for takeoff here. Vertical speed, I recommend 1,600 to start with. Remember, this plane is a little bit underpowered, especially the old cigarette engines. They're pretty underpowered, but that's you can deal with that by having a low vertical speed at the start. Initial IAS speed, I suggest 250 knots. As the plane will accelerate slowly, so maybe by the time it's accelerated to 250 knots, you will be, within the outside of the speed limit zone. Right. Alt, remember, as I said, you don't need to set that. Heading, probably set it to your runway course. So remember your runway course. You can check the ILS for the course if your runway has an ILS. It's 32 here, but you can just take the runway number and use it directly. I am going to put 32 though, so 32 would be right here, and we should see it here. Close enough. I'll just put 32 there. Okay, right. So now we should be set for the autopilot. Next thing to do is trim. This is one thing you need a keybind for as well, the trim up and down. So I'm just gonna do my trim keybind, and you'll see the trim going up here. If it isn't moving at the start, keep pressing the key to trim up. And it'll slowly come up here, and then it'll start going fast. It's a very weird way it crawls up this area. Whatever. Personal recommendation, set your trim to 2 before takeoff. Flaps full. Look, full flaps because this plane has some trouble getting up into the sky. But as soon as you're up in the air, these flaps are an immense drag. So as soon as we're off the ground, we're going to start retracting the flaps, okay? Alright, now we're just waiting for the flaps to kind of deploy fully. Once again, with the kind of theme of this plane, it's a little bit slow deploying the flaps, but I think that's kind of an every plane problem, the flaps do deploy slowly. Alright, flaps are deployed, and we're ready for takeoff now, so let's spool up. And remember, as I said, as long as your throttle is over 0, your brakes will start to deplete, and eventually they'll release. So yeah, if you want parking brake, just go idle. It's really that easy. But it can be annoying during taxi, which is why I have the throttle limiter. Alright, now up we go. One thing I do have to say is, you know how the brake kicks in if you're idle on throttle? If your spoilers are armed when that happens, they might deploy. So just kind of keep your spoilers unarmed. While taxiing, even during takeoff, just so that they don't deploy randomly, alright? And when it comes to landing, we're going to arm them because I actually do want the braking to kick in as soon as we touch down. Right. Other than that, let's go ahead and take off. Enough yap. I'm just going to turn on the white light. I'll turn it off. Right. Off we go for takeoff. I'm going to use the panel we have on the bottom to kind of gauge how much my throttle is. But yeah, push. Let's go 90%. Unfortunately, I'm a mouse yoke user, so you will have to see this little annoying thing here. Now, as soon as we take off, we might hear a blaring sound. That is the low speed warning, and the autopilot will not be able to activate while that is on. So just keep your ears put out for that sound. Okay, I'm having trouble maintaining the center line. Okay, it seems like we're in the right range to pull up, so here we go. Come on. Okay, like I said earlier, start dedeploying flaps. Dumping up the flaps. Now, as long as you don't have the, okay, there's the alarm. That's the alarm, okay? If that alarm goes on, if that alarm goes on for any amount of time, you will have an autopilot disconnect. So just make sure you've escaped this alarm. You can't silence it. You have to escape it. It is a low airspeed slash close to stall warning. Gear up. That's probably why it's very slow. We also don't have any flaps, so that's also probably why. Okay, right. So it looks like we're... Oh, for goodness sake. Right. Just decrease your pitch. Oh my goodness. Just accelerate. Just accelerate. I believe once you're past like 170 knots, it shouldn't go off anytime ever. Please. Please. Please, bro. Please. Thank you. Oh my god. Okay. Once that alarm finally shuts the hell up, you can go and activate your autopilots here. So, okay. Oh yeah. Press GPS to follow your routes. Why did I not say that earlier? Yep. See, as soon as the pesky alarm comes on for just a second, it kills your autopilot. It's so annoying. That's my altitude alarm. Now, I set that as the alarm because that's my transition altitude. But I'm not going to action that right now because I'm just kind of fighting the plane. Let's turn here because I see on the GPS we have a turn coming. Okay, start turning back. We see how the horizon level behaves. It's very weird. The whole horizon display doesn't tilt. It's just the kind of airplane icon that moves. Okay, right. I'm just gonna pitch down a little bit. And decrease our pitch trim now. Oh, for God's sake! Why? Just let me fly the plane. Come on, put nose down, please. No, nose down. Okay, I'm gonna bring the yoke down. Even if it pulls up for like 2 seconds, at least I can put up the autopilot. Right, 3, 2, 1, on, and then put up the autopilot. For goodness sake, come on, back again. Right. Oh my goodness, right. Looks like I've over trimmed, but trimming is very slow right now, so we'll have to wait. I can see on my GPS I'm not very localized with my plans, so I need to fix that. Oh, look at that. Nope. And we're back again. Okay, please just decrease your pitch. Okay. Tilt the other way, please. Thank you. So we can localize with our plan again. And I'm just going to level off here just so we can accelerate a bit more. This plane just can't get more speed as it's designed. Or maybe we're heavy. Whatever it is. Go ahead. Oh my goodness. Localizer, please. And auto throttle and vertical speed. If any little stall warning comes up, I'm going to be so mad. Wow, that's a pretty nice visual. Turn off the panel. You'll see it's starting to localize. My goodness, the brightness. Because we have the thing selected to GPS. So yeah, just make sure it says GPS there so that it follows your flight plan. I forgot to say that. I'm very sorry. But yeah. Right. Now as we ascend, I'm going to set a new target. So that target is going to be our cruising altitude. Now I am going to use Simbrief for my cruising altitude. Because the little nav map doesn't really calculate that. So here it is, 39,000 feet. I'm going to set it using the H3 knob. Ignore the message. We're just kind of setting it now to 39,000 feet. And yeah, there it is. So once we hit 39,000 feet, it's going to beep at us. But yeah. Now, while you ascend, don't presume that you're fine with 1,600 for the whole time, because you never know. As the air gets thinner, the plane will start to decelerate at the same rate of climb. So as we climb, we have to decrease our rate of ascent to, stop it from decelerating so much. So what I'm going to do is set it down to about 500 and 400, and then just kind of monitor the speed dial. And once again, what I'd like to do here is pop up my GNS panel, pop up my mini panel, and then go down to the Navigator's cockpit just to see, a very nice view. And yeah, would you look at that? Isn't that really nice? And yeah, just enjoy the flights. Make sure everything is going well. If you see something wrong, just go back. Make sure there's a shortcut to here. So I'm going to set a shortcut as 4, and then I can always flip back to the cockpit. All right. All right. So it's ascending very slowly. I did kind of expect this, but not at this rate. It is very slow. Like right now, in order to maintain in order to maintain acceleration, I have to go at like 400 feet per minute, and by the time I reach 39,000 feet, it'll probably be top of descent. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna level it off right now. So let's do that right now. We press the Alt button, and that will level the plane off, hopefully. What I will say is that in a situation where you really do calculate that you can really reach the altitude, I would put the alarm at that point, and it will go off. So yeah, but for now, we're gonna go with 34,000 as our altitude here with the alarm coming on. And I'll quickly show you how to do the vertical navigation page of the GNS, or whatever you call it, the FMS. So you take your little knob and you turn it this way, and now we're gonna plan our descent. So essentially what this does is it calculates the vertical speed required to reach a certain altitude before a certain distance before or after a waypoint. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm first gonna do is hop onto the little nav map. This way I can really kind of assess where I would like to put this. Now, firstly, let me put my flight plan page here. So I want to be at maybe, let's see. Oh, there's already like kind of sorted out things here. Now it won't take very SID slash star slash arrival waypoint seriously, so you can't put those ones in, but you can put these like fixes in, so like Gawkin. So let's do Gawkin then. It says Gawkin at 10,000 feet. I would say maybe 5,000 feet, but we'll see. So I'll put 5,000 feet then. Now here's the trick. The altitude is measured in meters sea level. Sorry, I mean sea level altitude. So it is not, it doesn't sync with your QNH. That way, for that reason, we have to go to the airport in our map. Or we just kind of check on our little nav map here. So let's go to Sochi and ask for information about Sochi. I'm gonna put the information down here. Where's somewhere we can put this? 1 second. Can we put it up here? Can we put it under here? Yeah. Okay, so Sochi has a elevation of 87 feet, so it's not that bad. So what I'll do is Right, I want to be like 5,000 feet by then. So what I'm going to do is 5,000, and then it's 80 feet, so I'll go like an extra 100. But yeah, we're going to put 0 nautical miles before the waypoint, which is Gokun. Where is it? There it is. Now there is an alternate way of doing this, and you will need the little nav map for this to really make it work, is you go and select a waypoint. Select your airport waypoint. So here's the airport for Sochi. And we're going to measure distance from Sochi. And we're going to kind of put it to where we want to be. So I say I want to be 2,000 feet at this waypoint here. I'm going to put it right here. And what that says is 12.8 nautical miles from Sochi. So literally what we could do is put Sochi in and then head back, and what is it? 12.8? 12.8. So we just put 12.8 in here. And I'm going to do that now. And once we have 12.8 in, I'm quickly going to change this to like 2000, and then I'm going to add 100 to compensate for elevation. And then vertical speed profile, I have no idea what this does. I don't know what it changes, but what I do know is it activates the calculation as soon as you set it. So I'm going to set it to 2500, because why not? And then we'll see it here. Oh my goodness, we require a ridiculous level of descent for this to work. Sorry for my phone notification sounds. But yeah, clearly the calculated descent rate is a lot, so we should probably start our descent now. It's saying descent rate of 2,900. We gotta be fast, so we're gonna put down a descent rate of 2,000, or it's actually 3,000. Let's do 2,900, and then we press VS to start our descent. I didn't really calculate for this, but yeah, this is a very slow, like, ascending plane, so you do really have to mind its slowness a little bit. So you know what, guys, if you're filing a flight plan for the IL-76, use like flight level maximum 35,000 feet. Anything above is a bit of a struggle for the plane, unfortunately. But yeah, there you go. And we can see the plane here. Fortunately, there's no clouds out, so we can't get any of that. Oh wait, there are. So I can see them over there. Beautiful 12.2.0 clouds. Hop into the Navigator's panel. You can see them in the distance there. Very nice. But yeah, we're just going to kind of monitor our descent here. And how you do this is you pop it up here, and you just kind of see what it's calculating. If it's decreasing, your ascent path is too steep. If it's decreasing, your ascent path is if it's increasing, your descent path is too shallow. Okay, right. So as you can see, it is decreasing and then increasing again, but that is mainly because of the autopilot just kind of oscillating its control of the vertical speed. We are going to set a 3,100 descent rate here just to kind of compensate. And we're seeing that we're a bit steep now because it's decreasing, so I'm actually going to go back to 3,000. You know what, I'm going to stick to 3,100 just to be, you know, cautious. Now, as we descend here, here's what I suggest. Ignore the sound when we set this. We're going to set 11,000 feet, and the reason I do this is because logically you're supposed to be under 250 knots, under 10,000 feet. So I have this kind of here to remind myself to set the auto throttle speed back a little bit to under 250 knots. And yeah, if your transition altitude is actually over this altitude, so maybe Sochi's transition altitude is bigger. So let me check that. Let me see. Transition, okay, it's 13,000. Flight level 150 actually. So we'll put that in. So once we reach 15,000, it'll be a sort of reminder to switch to QNH. Let's see here. We don't have to check here. We're actually getting quite close. So let me check. Wow, yeah, we are pretty close. QNH 1015. So yeah, we'll set QNH 1015 when the alarm comes on. For now, we are doing a steep descent. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, you can't manually manipulate these spoilers. Same with the flaps, so you do have to have a sort of key for that. One thing I'll also have to say is that there is this panel here, and this does work. If you're wondering what this is the autopilot panel. It is an alternative to using this panel here, but the issue with it is it doesn't have any number displays. So this is actually the vertical speed wheel, but you won't be able to see what vertical speed is actually set. And then same goes for this. I believe this is a roll selector, although it might be rudder trim. Um, I believe there is also no way to select target speed for auto throttle, even though you can turn auto throttle on here. And the only way to adjust the auto throttle speed is here. So what I'm trying to say is only do autopilot here. Don't bother yourself with this because you don't even have control over what speed you set. Okay? We're also seeing that this is decreasing, so maybe we're descending too steeply. I'm going to decrease a bit, maybe 2,800. So yeah, as we come down here, it's just a constant loop of just monitoring what your GPS is showing, and yeah. Oh yeah, let's adjust our ILS frequency. So hop into your whatever thing you use to see the ILS. I can actually hop into the default Xplane map. And we're gonna head to Sochi just to confirm here. ILS 11110. So press and then 11110, switch up. Then course is 58, so we just go down here and set the course. And boom, we are ready for ILS. Now what I will say though is to have a active ILS localizer, you have to switch this from a GPS to VLOC. I just flipped it quickly, but you get the point. GPS is localization to your GPS flight plan, and then VLOC is following the VOR or ILS localizer frequency. So yeah. Looks like our rate of descent calculated is decreasing, so maybe we might have to decrease it a bit more. 2,700. Coming close to 15,000 now. Or actually, not really close. Okay, so there is our altitude alarm. So we're gonna set to, let me check the QNH again of Sochi. QNH. It's telling us again, 1016. There we go. We're gonna set our level off altitude to 2000. And so yeah, when the notification comes on, we'll just kind of level off a bit. Yeah. Oh, goodness me, right. It is going off the map because the GPS is kind of deciding what to do with itself. 1 second. So what this means is that it's having issues localizing. So press the localizer again. I did not realize that happened. What we're also going to do is activate our approach here because we're approaching our approach procedure. And then press activate approach. And then hop off the flight plan page to check our map, and you'll see there it's activated our procedure, and we're going direct to the first waypoint And yeah, it should be perfectly straight from here. Oh yeah, I forgot about the speed limit. Let's go under 250 feet per minute as knots, please. We're also going to deploy a bit of spoiler. Oh, that's not a bit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's pretty sensitive. My goodness, how fast are we descending? My God. Um, yeah, but that's gonna help us decelerate a little bit. I'm gonna reduce to 200 knots just because I know that once we're leveled off, we would be at 200 knots. We would be at the point where 200 knots is appropriate. Um, we'll check the vertical navigation. Oh, it looks like we're descending a bit fast, so we'll go back to like 600 feet per minute. Yeah. Now, there's also this thing here. This is your altitude, or maybe this is your radio altimeter, I'm guessing. And so maybe you might set your minimums here. So, not sure where you'd like to set your minimums in meters. I'll set it at maybe 40. Let's go 50 meters. I'm also gonna uh, uh, arm my spoilers here, so let's arm them. And now that they're armed, I'm just gonna make sure that the engine limiter is off by going idle. Okay, I saw it was at 1%, so that means the engine limiter is off, which I want because I want the brakes to kick in when I land and the spoilers to come up. Now, just a briefing before we land. Um, so the auto brake essentially will slow you down to a complete stop, as I've told you before. So what I would do is let the brakes kick in as soon as you touch down, but only let them kick in for a little bit, and then turn on the throttle limiter to stop the brakes from putting full pressure until you stop fully. Okay, right. We should be getting close. No, actually, not really. Um, I guess I'll cut to when the ILS approaches, close. There we go. We have an alarm, so that means we should probably start our approach now. We're 2,000 feet. I'm gonna level off. I'm gonna also decrease our speed down to our minimum approach speed. Now, look, just kind of judge how heavy you are yourself. There's no V speeds here, so I suggest 145. That's my like max, like usually my kind of landing speed. It ends up being. Put down your gear, and also start putting your flaps down. Now we're also gonna press, make sure VLOC is on so we can see the ILS approach. Localizer is engaged, and what we'll see is that the glide slope will probably come down. Oh, well, would you look at that? The glide slope is coming down now. And all we have to do is just wait until it, approaches there and press the glide slope button. It'll arm it, and once it feels as though it's close enough, it will attach the glide slope. So, yeah. There is an absolutely incredible glaring sun right now. It's like I'm staring into heaven right now. It's pretty ridiculous. It's like the rapture is happening in front of me. So what I'll do is I'll try and orientate my head like this. Or you know what I'll do? I'll open up the there it is, right. The exposure field, and I'll set it myself. Although it'll be pretty hard to see my instruments, I'll do this. Maybe put some sharpening up a little bit so I can see my instruments. Alright, there you go. Okay, so it's taken the glide stuff now, and I can tell. And yeah, looking good. Now, yeah, you can tell it's a good landing speed because when you're on your glide slope, the plane should be pitching down just a little bit. This is how the plane usually takes the glide slope in real life. just a little bit pitched down. The plane usually lands without much of a flare, so it's fine if it looks like it's a bit overspeed, even with full flaps here. But yeah. Now it's up to you to decide when it's appropriate to disconnect your don't mind that. That's the altitude coming in again. Now what I'll do is I'll set the next altitude to like 8,000 feet. This is your go around altitude. Now I have no sign of the runway in sight. It's very glaringly bright. I guess I can go back to the photography thing and turn down the exposure. Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah, I see the runway. Okay, it's very hard to see because of the, oh my goodness, our instruments. Right. Auto exposure doesn't work very well, so I am going to set it like this. I don't know about my instruments. I'll figure it out. You can use the sunglasses keybinds to quickly decrease or increase the exposure added. So that's nice, I guess. So this might be my kind of hotspot for doing this. But yeah, you can see we're localized. Poppy lights, they're not looking so good. But maybe that is a map error, because look at our localizer. We are certainly pretty localized, I would say. As we come for a landing here, just kind of make sure your speed isn't too high. It's 150 right now, which is pretty concerning. So I'll put it down to just like a bit less, kind of encourage the auto throttle to do its thing. Oh wait, I just realized it's a little bit inaccurate. If you see 150, 143, it's fine. I'm just going to get rid of our GPS and get rid of our volume, our exposure slider. Oh my goodness, there's the runway. Right. Quickly disconnect the autopilot by pressing this button here, and you can disconnect the auto throttle by pressing the auto throttle button. So let's do that, shall we? So off autopilot, and you know what? The auto throttle is turned off as well. So that's pretty good then.
100 метров.
Решение. 40 метров. 20 метров. Оценка.
30. 7.
1 метр.
Wow, yeah, it's pretty powerful. Once again, turning on the throttle limiter before it can bring us to a complete stop. My suggestion is to when you see this at like 70 knots, or actually no, when you see it at maybe 80 knots, just press your throttle limiter on. But yeah, there you go. We've landed. There's some rain outside. Our spoilers have gone up once again. I'm gonna turn this way. I know this is where usually greater traffic parks. Right, spoilers up, or sorry, spoilers down, I guess you could say. Spool up the engines for taxi. Get rid of the flaps here. Also turn on auto exposure, finally. The glare was a bit much. Now, I don't know about that landing. We'll have to see it in the replay. But I think that was pretty successful. So as we come in here, we're just going to find a stand. I mean, that looks pretty good there, so we'll take it. Now, quickly before we park, I'm going to go idle here with the auto throttle, with the throttle limiter on. And then I'm going to turn it off and then go idle to activate the parking brake, kind of. And then go all the way to the back here. And we're going to start the APU again. Just press this button here and it'll start up again because we have all this on. So there we go. Now the APU is starting up again. And we'll just kind of wait until it's 100%. Now you could turn this on during taxi, but once again, it's a very kind of hard panel to get to. You could use a camera shortcut, but you know, it's up to you. Anyways, once we have APU power, shut off the engines. Use the scroll wheel with the engine cutoffs here and let them die off. So We'll see the N1 and N2 dying off here. And yeah. Let's also turn off some lights. So off these switches here and the nav and beacon. Get your... Let me turn off the panel. Get your doors open. So Shift F1 activates this door here. It'll open up. Shift F2, probably the coolest, actually not the coolest door, but the most, passenger accessible door by F2, Shift F2, and then this one, Shift F3, will open up the very well animated ramp here, although the clipping is kind of very cool though. And as you can see, it opens up. And that concludes the flights. It was a bit, weird. I made a few mistakes, but I'm sure you can learn from my mistakes and also, implement it into your flights, When it comes to the VD, the thing about the VD, to my knowledge, the simulation of the engines remains the same. This is just a model swap. So it'll still have that kind of low power rating. I hope someone modifies the ACF file. I might do that myself. Maybe I'll post a mod. Just check up on my Xplane account. It's FadBob, just like my channel name. And maybe I'll implement an ACF fix, maybe add some realistic performance to these PS90 engines. But for now, I was just using the legacy variants of the IL-76 TD. And there you go. That's the video, guys. Very interesting plane to fly. Very manual, I must say. And I really like that. Good brake. So, I guess time for the replay. This plane is very hooked with the native data ref, so it works perfectly in replay mode. In fact, you can have the doors open, the flaps de-engaged, and the engines off, and it'll still work in the replay. Okay, there it is. Right. Let's have a look at our landing. Okay, that was pretty good. You can see the ridiculous amount of tire smoke because of how powerful the brakes are when they engage. You can also see the spoilers came up immediately. Now I recommend one thing is look out the window to your side and you'll have a very nice view of the engines. Very cool to watch during landing here. No wing flex physics, which is unfortunate, but it's cool to watch them. These engine models also support reverse thrust animations. So if you use reverse thrust, it'll show. But yeah, really, really nice stuff. One more angle, guys. There you go, quite a nice landing. Alright, okay, that's it. That's really it of the video. Hope you enjoyed. Go enjoy your IL-76. Download the scripts mentioned in the description. Follow the install tutorial. Learn from my mistakes, and have a nice day. See ya!
100 метров.
Решение. Сорок метров. 20 метров. Оценка.
7.
1 метр.